Never save money. Those were the first words my grandfather ever said to me, and I remember freezing in place, convinced I had misheard him. Every book, every teacher, every adult around me repeated the same advice. Save money, protect money, hide money for the future. But my grandfather only smiled, his eyes full of stories, and said, "No, don't just save money. Make money grow." I didn't understand then, but years later I realized those words were born from a lifetime of struggle, failure, and finally, wisdom. Let me tell you the story of a man who learned this lesson the hard way. In a quiet village surrounded by dusty roads and endless fields, lived an old man named Matteo. People whispered about him. They called him lazy. They said he wasted his life. Every day, Matteo sat under the same giant tree, staring at the clouds, watching people pass, dreaming out loud. "One day I'll open a shop," he would say. "One day I'll buy cows. One day I'll be rich." But that one day never came, because Matteo only dreamed. He never moved. At first, villagers laughed. Later, they stopped laughing. They simply felt sorry for him. His wife, Rosa, carried the weight of the household. She cooked, washed, cleaned, and somehow kept the family alive with almost nothing. One evening, exhausted but gentle, she sat beside him and said, "Dreams are beautiful, Matteo, but dreams don't fill empty stomachs. We need work. We need money." Matteo nodded slowly and replied, Someday I will find a way." But someday kept running away from him. Days turned into months. Months became years. Food became scarce. Clothes became thin. Money disappeared. One cold night, their little grandson, Leo, walked up to Matteo barefoot and shaking. His voice was barely a whisper. "Grandpa, do we have bread?" Rosa opened the cupboard. Empty. No rice. No flour. Nothing. Matteo felt something break inside his chest. He looked at Leo's thin face and felt tears burn his eyes. That night, he understood a painful truth. Dreams without action are just illusions. He couldn't sleep. His stomach was empty, but his mind was heavier. When the sun rose, Matteo did something he had never done before. He went out to find work. He became a field laborer. The sun scorched his skin. The ground cracked beneath his feet. He lifted heavy tools, bent his back, and worked until his hands blistered. His hands blistered. Every night he came home exhausted. Rosa cooked what little they had, sometimes beans, sometimes a single tortilla shared between them. Leo would ask, "Grandpa, what did you earn today?" Matteo would open his hand and show a few coins. "It's small," he'd say, "but it's something." Yet soon he noticed something cruel. Money came in and money went out. Food finished. Medicine finished. Bills never finished. The problems stayed. The roof still leaked. The family was still hungry. Saving money felt impossible. One day at the village store, Matteo overheard a man say, "The secret is saving money. If you save, you are safe." Those words echoed in his mind. That night, Matteo found an old glass jar and hid it under the bed. Every week, he dropped a few coins inside. Clink, clink. Each sound felt like hope. Leo discovered the jar and asked, "Grandpa, what is this?" Matteo smiled softly. "This is our tomorrow." But saving was painful. Matteo wore shoes with holes. He skipped meals. He bought nothing for himself. Rosa sometimes looked at him and said, What good is money if we are hungry? Mattia replied, One day you will understand. Months passed. The jar-filled Mattia felt proud. He felt safe. He felt ready. One morning, he carried the jar to the market and placed the coins on the table. I want 3 sacks of corn, he said. The shopkeeper counted slowly, then shook his head. Prices went up. This buys only 1.5 sacks. Matteo felt his heart sink. His hard-earned savings had lost value. Everything was more expensive. Life still felt heavy. That evening, Matteo sat outside, silent. He watched neighbors pass by. One carried eggs. Another carried milk. They looked calm, not rich, but not afraid. Then a small idea entered his mind. A tiny seed. He turned to Leo and said, What if we buy chickens? This time, Matteo didn't wait for some day. He took the jar, walked to the market, and bought a few skinny chickens. Leo laughed and ran around them shouting, Grandpa, we have our own egg factory. At first, they found 1 egg, then 2. They ate some, they sold some. With the money, they bought another chicken, then another. Slowly, the flock grew. Slowly, the money grew. Matteo kept records in a small notebook. Every egg sold, every coin earned. Neighbors began coming to their house to buy eggs. The home felt different, lighter, warmer, full of hope. Matteo still worked hard, but now he worked for his own future. One day, holding an egg in his hand, he told Leo, This egg is stronger than a jar of money. Money can disappear. Money can lose value. But when you use money to create something, it grows like life. Leo hugged him and asked, So you're not lazy anymore? Mattia smiled with tears in his eyes. No, my child. I learned something important. Never just save money. Make money grow. From that day on, Matteo shared his lesson with everyone. Saving money is like holding water in your hands, it slowly slips away. But using money to build something, even something small, can change your life forever. And that is why I share this story with you today. Don't only save. Invest. Grow. Start small. Stay consistent. Your future self will thank you. If this story inspired you, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this.